All right.
It's good enough for me.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So you're in your hotel. I'm in my.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep. We're trying to do this over hotel internet like we always do.
Yeah. You know what was a travesty? I made myself a healthy turkey sandwich just not too long ago. And
Healthy?
there's... Yeah.
Yeah, define healthy.
No mayonnaise.
Uh-huh.
It's more like a wrap almost.
Wheat bread? Oh,
yep,
okay.
Yep, wheat bread, but it's like half. It's like not a half, but it's one piece of bread with a big wad of turkey in the middle, like rolled up around some, with some cheese. I make like a cheese burrito out of the turkey
Crust
first.
or no crust?
Oh, crust on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is healthy.
But much to my horror, while I was eating and I picked it up, and a huge portion of the turkey fell out onto the floor. And there's like a lot of things that I'll do, but eat lunch meat off a hotel room floor is not one of them.
Yeah, I was going to say 3-second rule does not apply.
No, it's instantly
to a
bad.
hotel floor. You got me looking at my floor now. I don't even want to imagine what's... Oh, man, I'm barefoot, too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Where are my sandals? Here they are. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I could see how that would be pretty defeating.
Yeah.
Even for a hungry stomach.
I know. Yeah, here in a little bit, you'll be like, man, I don't remember putting lotion on my feet, but my feet are super oily.
I'm good. I do have to say they do a fine job at cleaning. But I do have my usual stack. It's about I don't know 9 papers high, sheaf of papers.
Really?
Telling me that we came by to clean, but you didn't want us.
Yeah, see, I'm not in a Marriott this time, so they only come by once a week.
Oh, well, I clean up after myself. I had to go down and ask for more soap downstairs just to do my dishes, so.
Oh.
They know. I've freshened my towels twice. Or 3 times. I don't know.
Cool. Well.
Anyways, I think this part might have to be edited.
Oh, no. Are you sure?
So, no.
Okay.
No. This is the part that everybody tunes in for.
I'm sure.
It's not going to be the actual what follows the colon part.
No.
Yeah. But what follows the colon this time?
It's going to be Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Warner Brothers, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, my vague recollection of it.
Mine's pretty vague, yeah. I went to a 7:00 showing last week. And of course I did not have a notebook.
No, I didn't either.
Person I went with joked about taking a notebook, and he's like, "Oh, I forgot my notebook," and I'm all, no. I'd much rather pay attention this time.
Yeah.
I will probably end up seeing it twice. Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah. What?
But
spoiler alert, you're going to see it twice?
Yeah, it means that it was decent enough to go to the theater twice.
Oh, interesting.
For me, at least.
Yeah? That doesn't seem to take much. I mean, a movie that you love, you'll go 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 times in the theater to go see.
No, my record's 8.
Okay, 8. 7, 8.
And I wouldn't even say love. It's I have nothing better to do than play video games in my hotel room. So yeah, I have to get out, and if it's a film I enjoy, sure, I'll feed the beast.
Cool,
even if it is the evil empire.
I'm spoiler alert. I'm not going to go see it a second time.
Well, yeah, then we will definitely have to discuss that. So, do you think we should preface it all by talking about Batman versus Superman, since that's really where we were introduced to the character?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
No, I'd really rather not
really hard to tie it back to Bats versus Supes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because of the image that was used.
Oh. I thought you were talking about how whenever Bruce Wayne shipped a photograph in a giant armored vehicle slathered in Wayne-Co. propaganda.
Oh, yeah. Wayne Enterprises was all over and everything, so it's like, okay, what are these guys doing?
Yeah.
That did throw me off a little bit. Well, he was sending it to the Louvre, right?
Yeah.
big museum, all special and junk. But yeah, I don't know. And then when you end up seeing what it is, it's like, did he really? Well, it was glass, so kind of makes sense. But armored truck, I don't know.
Yeah,
hardly think that was necessary.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it felt like overkill.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just one of many qualms that I have with it. Anyway.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm gonna give more of a glowing recommendation. You're gonna be more nitpicky.
Not nitpicky. I've got standards, man. Come on.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. I mean, see, from my point of view, they gave gravity to the proper moments.
Yeah, I would agree.
But I don't know. And then the levity, I don't know. I mean, what I enjoyed the most about it, and I mean, this has got to be a nod to the director, I'm sure the script writers as well, but the focus was placed where it needed to be, as far as character's origin and coming of age type of story.
Yeah.
Because, it followed the typical hero's journey. Hero doesn't know anything about the world, gets introduced to the world by, I don't know, wizard, warlock, Jedi, and then discovers the world's a much bigger place and goes out to discover what it is, enters that world not knowing squat, right? And, I mean, but again, the emphasis that was given really helped paint the picture of who Wonder Woman should be, who we believe her to be. Like, it met expectations of who you thought Wonder Woman was, I thought.
Yeah, character.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. For the most part. I mean, most of my issues are with the story and the writing and the the plot. I think it was probably DC's best offering in terms of live action to date. But for me, that doesn't really take much to be there.
Well, yeah, this is true. You know what?
But, it's, for me, like, whenever they kick it off, there's like so many things that come back now. Like whenever she runs and she's a little girl, does the run and jump, and then the lady catches her. Was it her mom, or was it the general, or was it the?
It wasn't her nanny.
It wasn't her nanny, because her nanny was a ways back when she was getting the talking to.
Yeah, I think it was her mom.
Okay, yeah, she gets caught by her mom, and that sort of foreshadows her later on running and jumping and grabbing onto the side of the tower, where she goes to get what she thought was the God Killer sword. And, like me, I thought, oh man, I would hate to be the stonemason there. She was just punching holes in the side of the towers. I'd be like, really? I gotta build scaffolding all the way up there. Thanks.
Well, yeah, and oh no, I was about to get too uber geek there. Themyscire's been around for centuries, so whoever the stonemason was, should be pissed because their work's been standing there for centuries already.
Oh yeah.
You can't just throw putty in there and call it good.
Yeah. Now, did you want to try and chronologically discuss this at all, or just hop around whatever pops in?
I almost feel like it makes sense to do it chronological because, I mean, yeah, sure, we started with the photo, which is how the movie began, right?
Right.
And again, just that's why I thought maybe discussing Batman versus Superman was a good idea, because that's where we saw that photo the first time. And I don't know, it was almost redundant, but having seen Batman versus Superman, it felt redundant. But if you hadn't, kudos, because as a standalone film, it's like you still have the note from Bruce saying, I found the original. I'd love to hear your story someday, or something like that.
Yeah. And that's cool. I mean, I'm fine with all that. Yeah, by all means, show the picture, tie the universe together, go for a cohesive, overall plot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's cool.
Yeah. I didn't have a problem with it.
Yep.
But I think having it go back, I don't know, how did you feel about the time period that it took place in?
Totally fine with it.
Yeah. I didn't have any issue with that. I mean, I think some comic book purists were like, "Oh man, it wasn't World War One," and it's like,
it's
what's
fiction.
the problem?
It's a fictional universe, fictional characters. You can, that's the beauty of it. You can kind of do whatever you want.
Right. Had to get that mic off. Yeah. So I didn't have a problem with it because, and also I thought, I mean, World War One, from a historical standpoint, really was a time when a lot of nations came together, and because, I mean, I think Trevor, Captain Kirk's character.
Yeah.
Okay. I think he even made a comment at some point about how many nations were involved in the war.
Yes, everybody.
And that's kind of one of Wonder Woman's hallmarks. Through the years, she's a persona that unifies people.
Oh, sure. Something to gather around.
Egg them on to fight. Yeah, And no, I thought the time period is indicative. The word played well with the character.
Yeah, yeah. I think it partnered, well in that regards. I don't know.
Yeah, so
that was all cool. I really liked. I can't think of his name either. Captain Kirk's character. Captain Kirk's character.
Sorry. That's how I think of him. But yeah, the character was Steve Trevor.
Okay.
And,
Steve. Steve
The
Rogers.
Steve. From World War what? Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh dear.
Yeah, they kind of
Marvel out of this discussion.
Well, hey, that was one of my deals too. Is I was like, it felt like potentially the worst maybe Marvel movie. Like the way that it was made, it felt like they were trying to take so many pages out of Marvel's book in terms of flow and like the way they would offset some of the heavier moments with humor like immediately. To a degree, like it felt like that's what they were going for, and I can understand that. And I wouldn't. In the end, I don't begrudge them because it's a wildly successful formula.
Yeah. Well, what I liked about it is it didn't. It's the first rebooted DC film that didn't go for super grit.
Oh yeah.
It definitely it was definitely the lightest. I don't know if I'm explaining that properly, but it didn't come across as a chick flick per se, right?
Right.
But it was way more light. And we're not talking like Batman and Robin light where the set pieces were made up to look all neon and bright, but I mean, there were parts where you had the set director obviously. Here's the villain. Let's change the lighting. Let's change the filters. Let's make everything look darker. And then when you had Wonder Woman around, everything was bright.
Yeah, and that's cool.
Which, again, attention to detail.
Yeah, it felt a little bit like DC's Iron Man.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, especially after she put her garb on.
Yeah.
Which, oh man, yeah. Might have to talk about the costume.
Well, you can talk about the costume now, I guess, if you want to, and then start out with her learning to fight.
Yeah. Let's do that because, and that's the other thing I really enjoyed about this, to get this out of the way early. I like the fact that Gal Gadot is Wonder Woman. Now, when you think of Wonder Woman, you think of her.
Mm-hmm.
even though a lot of us will continue to think of Linda Carter lovingly, fondly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that they did a complete separation. Like, nothing was ever mentioned, no cameo.
Yeah, you don't need to.
Yeah, there was
Sure.
literally no reason to. Wasn't needed. And I really appreciated that they went ahead and, Gal can stand on her own 2 feet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would agree there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got the costume, which was...
Yes.
It felt like a much better version of to me, style-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Batman costume and Superman costume, that
Right.
they've had recently, style-wise, like aesthetically, how it looks like it would feel.
Right.
Hers
the
looks...
Superman one, it looked like chainmail almost.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the way it was made, and it's like, why would Superman have to wear chainmail? He's freaking bulletproof already.
Yeah,
but
Batman's
Batman, there's no way he could physically fight in that, right?
No, there's not. It looked like somebody had mixed sort of thin yarn with tar, like roofing tar, and then pasted it on him. It was real fibrous. It's like, but
I mean, I remember Val Kilmer, George Clooney,
mm-hmm.
and Christian Bale. They all complained about the same thing. You couldn't turn your head. So
the cowl.
let's surround a guy with like a dozen dudes, and he's going to be able to fight everybody. I mean, you have to literally turn your entire torso just to look to your right. So,
oh yeah, it's well, but like the Wonder Woman costume worked because they'd introduced the style even early on, like in the crowns that they wore, their bracelets. It was, you know what I mean? It fit the world.
Yeah, which was Greek mythology, right?
Yeah.
What were we working with? Was it Greek or Roman? Was it Roman?
It was Greek. It was Zeus.
It was Greek. Zeus, yes. Okay.
Zeus and Ares and all those.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so she learns, she grows up, learns to fight. Yeah. With her origins kept a secret.
Right. And that was done without her mother knowing at first?
No, her mother knew.
Because
her mother's always known.
I thought her mother, forbade her when she was younger.
Yeah, because that's right, she was forbidding her from training because she was like, this is the thing that is meant to kill Ares. And as soon as she knows it and begins gaining power, it will make it easier for him to find her.
Right.
Like he can sense her in the world. And so she tried to keep her as innocent and, as she possibly could to keep Ares at bay for as long as she could.
Robin Wright.
Yeah.
And was training her behind her back. Because, I didn't think she looked too happy about that when she discovered that Robin Wright was training her in secret.
Yeah, she didn't look thrilled about it. But, Robin Wright was like, hey, look, this is going to happen whether you want it to or not. I mean, whenever you're dealing with deities and immortality, I mean, how long can you, it all comes down to how long can you stay hidden, because inevitably you will be found. So that's why she was saying, like, hey, you're just delaying the inevitable by not training her, so you might as well.
Yeah, for some reason, I just thought of Boromir when you were talking about that. All seeing eye.
Yep. Gonna get you.
But no, and Robin Wright, I thought did a phenomenal job. I really enjoyed her.
Yeah,
her
I did too.
Portrayal of that character.
Yeah, she had some cool scars and.
Yeah, I mean, she was portraying one of the most battle-hardened and best fighting Amazonian warriors.
Yeah, she was a general. Best one.
And you know what? That was something I keyed in on as well during this training scene. It was because it started out showing all the Amazonians training and whatnot, and working on their skills, and they immediately were showing off the archery skills. And I was like, ooh, let's see. And I looked at their outfits, and I noticed that one breast was a different color from the other. And I was wondering if they did that to kind of hearken to the whole, because according to history, myth, I don't know what you want to call it, Amazonian warriors lopped off one of their breasts so that they could be better archers.
Yeah, I do remember hearing that now.
And I noticed I shouldn't call them outfits, their armor, that one breast was a different color from the other. And I was like, man, I wonder if there's an actual breast under there, or that is colored that way because it's not made out of leather, to replace something that's not there, type of thing. No idea. And I'm yet to read anything about whether or not that's what the costume designers were going for, but who knows? Could have just been, we want 2 cool colors on there or something.
Yeah, could have been like a nod to the Roman togas.
Oh, yeah, true.
So it gets pretty much gets right up on, though, one of my big things is that it'll go forward. Like one of my biggest hang-ups for the whole thing was that throughout the movie, and it begins with the general, the queen's sister. Whenever the Nazis show up, she throws herself in front of Diana, right, and takes a bullet,
right,
and collapses on the ground, and keels over. So that is, to me, that was character motivation, is what that was.
Yeah, one of those defining moment type things.
Yeah, it was a defining moment, but it happens again later with Steve. Because Steve flies the plane off, into the sky.
Why did he have to do that? I'm sorry. We just jumped from the beginning to the end here, but
yeah, I know, and that's what I say. It covers a lot.
Either. Yeah.
Okay, so this is like one of my biggest hang-ups, though, was that Wonder Woman had the general sacrificed herself to save her.
Right.
And Steve sacrifices himself in the end to save, like, everybody, as many people as he possibly can. Everybody else there.
Radius. Yeah.
So, but the stuff burns. So he's like, okay, I'm going to go do this. Now, 100%. Yeah, 100% of this, though, in terms of the character motivation, is her big defining moments are all about people she cares about dying. And you find out she's a god and is literally indestructible, which meant the general didn't need to block that bullet. The bullet wouldn't have hurt her. I mean, she can punch through a tank. Why is the bullet going to hurt her? So the general throws herself in front of her unnecessarily. And Steve flies off in a plane and kills himself unnecessarily.
No,
she could have done that and blown up the plane and then just fallen back to Earth and been fine.
No, she's not a god, though. She's a demigod.
They said she's a god.
Yeah, but she's a demigod.
Still, she can pick up a tank and swing it, and she can walk through that stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? The dude was hitting her with lightning. That's what I'm saying. I think everybody. I mean, I got it like his character motivation. I think.
Yeah, I don't believe she is bulletproof or puncture proof. She can be hurt.
I think she's, in terms of what they displayed, the fact that she got hit with tanks and stuff and a giant piece of concrete. She got crushed into that giant piece of steel reinforced concrete that Ares lifted up off the ground and smashed, and she took off. Maybe he missed her, I don't know. But anyway, there's many instances where she was had shrugged off severe physical trauma, and yet multiple people died.
Well, early on in the film, though, she was injured, and it showed her, undergoing whatever, not even medicine. She had just been wrapped
she got
up, and then they unwrapped her, and she was already healing.
They put
she was
some
healing
burlap
quickly,
potato
type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, maybe that it was infused with Neosporin
Right.
I don't know.
Super Neosporin. But no, as far as I can remember with the mythology of Wonder Woman, she's not invulnerable like Superman. She can be hurt. She doesn't reach the same level of being bulletproof.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why she's always blocking the bullets with her bracelets.
Right, and I got that, but like in the setting of the movie, with all the stuff that happened to her, I mean, she jumped through a clock tower that collapsed on her.
Oh my gosh, that was awesome!
And she's sweating a little piece of lead, like bullet travel. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know about this.
Well, yeah, and I mean when she went across the oh crud, what was that zone called? No Man's Land.
Yeah, No Man's Land.
That was a serious problem because machine gun fire. She wouldn't be able to stand up to that.
Yeah, she had her shield. She drew the fire.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, that part was beautiful. I think that was the moment of the movie because that was really her up to that point, having entered into the world of men and being what's it called when you don't know anything?
Naive.
Yes. Yeah. Which she played beautifully. I mean, yeah. She just wanted to. She was all wrapped up and hiding as best she could. But just being able to show the compassion, and she just kind of reached a boiling point of I can't just stand around and do nothing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she set out on her quest. It was like, I came here to do something. You've stopped me long enough. I got to do something. So to have the moment be literally coming up out of a freaking trench, a foxhole, and going across. And see, I was so glad. Again, writer, director, don't know who I have to give kudos to, but you make a point of calling it No Man's Land, and she didn't say, well, I'm no man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was so glad. I was waiting for that generic bullcrap line to come out, and it never did. It didn't have to.
Smacks of misogyny. But yeah.
Thank you. And so she just goes up there, and what does she do? She does what any woman in her situation would do. Gets practically naked by wearing her outfit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unnecessarily.
Strides out on the battlefield. And, I mean, immediately, beautiful slow motion. Blocks the bullets with her bracelets. Okay, maybe that does harken back to... Nah, it doesn't. I wouldn't call that an Easter egg for Linda Carter. But nonetheless, brilliant. I mean, it was like the character in full-fledged power. It'd be great to get a female's perspective on this because I don't know if that part embodies female empowerment or not, but for the character, it was like the moment of the movie, I thought.
Yeah, it was, I liked all of the action scenes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I mean, the one you were talking about with the sniper tower?
Yeah, where she was running around in the city, she's like, I'll be right back, and then runs into the building and just is slow-mo, kicking butt.
She looked like she was dancing, dude. It was
the
great.
The DP was like, whoever did all the cinematography there was, gets to pat him on the head.
Oh, yeah, definitely, because their Steadicam work on that was great, too, because that was the thing I enjoyed, too, is usually when you get these war-type films, there's a lot of shaky cam to help add to the action and the chaos. You didn't have a lot of that in this. It was more focused on, literally, I thought she looked like she was dancing in some of those scenes where she was dodging bullets, and then when she went into the room and was like slide tackling dudes and stuff.
I'd read some interviews with her, and she said that she'd grown up doing dance, and that it helped a lot with the fight choreography.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, it showed because she was very fluid in her motions of, it was almost like free flow combat from freaking Batman Arkham Asylum or something.
Yeah.
Because she just moved fluidly from one to the other and hit this guy with the shield, knocked this guy on the head with the butt of her sword. Because did you notice she didn't kill anybody? She incapacitated everybody.
Yeah, she pretty much. I can't recall. I think there was I don't know. I thought at some point maybe there was one or two, but you could never be sure because 90% of them that I could even pay attention to in the fight scenes were all just, punches in, incapacitation type deal. Granted, I mean, some of it was, like whenever she jumped through the sniper tower.
That was awesome.
The clock tower. I doubt that guy pulled through.
We gotta paint that for people because that was great. I thought it was awesome that in the middle of the battle, a freaking spy. He was a German spy, right? Steve Trevor. Yeah. He and when they had the battle on the Themyscira, how would you even say this? Themyscirian? Yeah.
I think so.
Themyscirian beach. He was paying attention to the Amazonians' battle tactics of calling out for a shield, where you had like two of them brace a shield, and then the one came, jumped, and they pushed at the same time and vaulted her up as she jumped off the shield, because he called for the same thing, and he's like, shield, and they were picking up like, I don't know, it was part of the tank that she threw before, right?
The door off of the armored vehicle.
Right, so
it took three of them to lift.
Yeah, three of them picked that up, and she just launched, and okay, here we go, kudos to the sound mixer, because she leads with her shield, but she hit it like a cannonball. I mean, the thing just, like she was made of TNT, just exploded. It was awesome. You're right, that guy probably didn't make it. Valid.
Yeah, he had a lot of brick come down.
Yeah, but again, for the most part,
it was like, unless it was like that scene from the Blues Brothers where Princess Leia, blows up their apartment or whatever, and everybody just comes crawling out of the bricks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we're fine. Yeah, no. And of course, I mean, she killed the guy that they were trying to pass off as Ares, which I never fell for that, not for a second, because
it was
he's using like the magic gas to be empowered, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, you're in the middle of a war, and everything I've always read, heard about, and even the DC characterization of Ares is that war fuels him, hate, stuff like that. And okay, if he's surrounded by a war, he's got a lot of power and energy. He doesn't need a gas.
Yeah, so he doesn't need a little snorty snort.
Right. that misdirection didn't really work all that well on me.
Yeah.
But yeah, and she definitely killed that dude with her little god-slaying sword.
Yeah, that was 100%, no doubt about that.
Yeah, and actually that makes me think we do have to jump back to when Steve was in the land of women.
Yeah.
And was introduced to the lasso. Because, some people find the lasso of truth to be a cliche thing.
That thing is crazy powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what I liked is that their take on this was that if you try to fight the compulsion of the lasso of truth, it freaking hurts.
Yeah.
Because Chris Pine, oh my gosh, his name just popped into my head.
Oh, is it Chris Pine?
Captain Kirk, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Which seems wrong. Sorry, Bill Shatner. You will always be Captain Kirk. No disrespect to Chris Pine, but come on. We wouldn't have Captain Kirk if it weren't for Bill Shatner. Yeah, my geek keeps coming out when I'm discussing DC stuff. Yeah, no. So with the lasso, I thought it was great to show that if you try to fight the lasso of truth, it causes you great discomfort because it looked like it was burning him.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what
he said something like
given.
It's really hot.
Yeah, yeah. Like, I don't know. That just seemed like there were a lot of things, a lot of subtleties that they just got right in my book. But I can see where you got hung up on the story and stuff because, The misdirection, didn't buy it for a second.
No, I knew that wasn't a main baddie.
Yeah, they foreshadowed enough because, they set a lot of that stuff up to where you'd feel the gravity of the situation, but you could see it coming because they did all the foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know.
In terms of acting, I mean, it's spot on. I mean, I thought it was great there. The action was great. Cinematography was great.
Mm-hmm.
The characters were great. The relationship that she had with Steve was great. Their chemistry, I thought, was fine.
It moved along, albeit too quick. But for most films, I think you run into that problem because, even 2 hours, you're not going to have a chance to really fully develop a relationship that comes across as, how did you get from here to there in like a day? Most people don't do that. And you have to dispel belief on that part of it, because I don't think it was love at first sight. This is the first man she had ever seen. She had nothing else to compare it to. If you're going to buy that, okay.
He was smitten at first sight.
Yeah, I think but it took 95% of any man would have been. I hope.
It took her until about the moment where he ran away to go jump in the plane before she was like, "Oh wait,
what are these?"
feelings? To realize, what are these feelings?
But see, I never felt that way toward her character. Of there was never this. I need a man to, make me feel safe, special. Any of that
to be whole.
She had all that grace, dignity, and belief in herself already.
She had all that coming in.
Yeah, so that she fell for somebody that decided not to watch from the sidelines and do something, even after admittedly saying, I tried doing nothing, didn't work. So I'm doing something. I mean, that all helped with moving the character progression along. I get that, but that did not feel forced. Now, I think the part where they supposedly were intimate, I think that was handled well, because I don't think you could take a character like Wonder Woman, like, shoot, I'm going to call her Diana, and show her as vulnerable as, getting rocked in the bedroom.
I know whenever she was like, whenever that scene went down, in my mind, I was like, oh man, what popped into my mind was there's an episode of Futurama where they crash on the Amazonian planet and the Amazonian women are there.
Snoo.
And they're like, snoo. What happened to all the other men before? Died from crushed pelvises.
Yeah.
Like, poor shoot. Steve.
Yep. Sorry, Steve. But no, I did like the way that was handled, because it was the panning back from the lit room and left us wondering what happened.
Yeah, what really happened?
Yeah, really kept it in the PG-13 realm.
Yeah, I thought they handled a lot of stuff fairly well in terms of, things like that, where, the character didn't feel, again, I thought they did really well with the characters. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. It didn't feel like, she needed Steve to be Wonder Woman.
No, she literally did not need any validation from any man.
Yeah.
To be who she was and what she stood for.
Yeah.
And
that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, that to me, and I'm probably wrong, receive many comments about it, but that to me is the empowerment of a woman. And that's what, well, we shouldn't veer off into this discussion, but that's what many of us dudes find alluring or can be attracted to, is a woman that has that self-confidence,
Yeah, confidence. Yep.
It's sexy. Well, it's sexy on both men and women.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. So. Yeah. Okay. But back to the movie. Let's talk about supporting cast.
Yeah, supporting cast. Oh, man, it had, was that Spud from Train Spotting?
Yeah, yeah. I loved the characters that they threw in because you had the guy, geez, I'm not even sure I can remember what nationality he was, but the very first guy when we go into the bar.
The guy was the actor.
Again, this was your classic hero's journey of now your mentor is going to take you to a dive bar to then link up with other people that are going to help you on your journey. Classic storytelling.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first guy, what was he? Was he Puerto Rican?
Man, European? I don't remember. I think it was European or Middle Eastern.
Middle Eastern. Oh, yeah. Maybe that's what he was. But, he was sharing a big tale about
being
something
a prince.
With a sheik or something like that, right? Yeah. And
what
Steve comes over and calls BS. Yeah, it's like, what now? And shoots that down because, he was definitely doing some kind of side hustle. But,
yeah,
I enjoyed his character and the characterization of the time. And then who was next? It was the Irishman, right? From Trainspotting?
Yes.
Or no, Scottish. He was Scottish.
Oh, yeah, Scottish. Yep.
He must have been Scottish because they made a point of showing him airing out his kilt.
Yep.
Which was great.
Yeah.
I like that quick nod.
Yeah. She basically got her own little set of Howling Commandos.
Yeah, right? That's kind of, oh, man. See, when I was sitting in the movie, I in no way drew comparisons to any Marvel film at all. I was just there to listen to Wonder Woman's story, but no,
that's what I was.
You're spot on. It's like, it's her own little group of Howling Commandos.
Yeah, I went in expecting, to see just a Wonder Woman movie, but then, and it may be because I don't read Marvel comics, but I'm a big fan of their movies because they're just well executed.
Sure.
But all those parallels just started popping into my head. I was like, uh-oh. But at the same time, it's not like Marvel came up with, the idea of a ragtag band either.
Nope.
It's just the quickest thing that, memory jumps to.
Right. Yeah, and it's like, here's a group of underdogs that are going to go save the world. How many times have we seen that formula? Except this one had a demigod in it, so that's a little bit.
There's
it's been done before.
What is it? There's a DC, I think it was a Vertigo comic that was should check out. It's called Adventures in the Rifle Brigade. Operation Bollocks.
Oh, I think I've heard of that.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that one.
It is very much a mature title.
Yeah.
But it's graphic and violent and
I think
crazy.
Whoever I was talking to is like, it's just over the top gratuity.
It is.
Yeah. Okay.
But it has sort of the same sort of characters, like the types.
Oh, okay. So it had a Native American that just shows up and hasn't really picked a side because he has no side left to choose.
They didn't have that. But it was a ragtag band of different nationalities, and they all just got along because why not?
Yeah. Okay. So who are we missing? We've named 3 now.
You had the Irish guy, the actor, the Native American were the 3, and then it was Steve and Wonder Woman, Diana.
Wait, Scottish, Irish, Scottish,
or Scottish? I guess. Yeah, Scottish.
He was the reluctant sniper, right?
Yeah.
At least that's what he ended up being.
Saying.
Yeah. Because he was some damaged goods. He was having night terrors when they were at the campsite.
He was. Yeah, poor fella.
Yeah. Well, the horrors of war, right?
Yeah.
Not to demean that, since it's a real thing, but yeah, I mean, they kind of threw a little bit of everything in there. And yeah, I mean, to have Wonder Woman round that out made sense, and to have these guys to have her taking the lead when she did, and have these guys just like, what the crap's going on? Mm-hmm. And Steve's just like, roll with it, just roll with it.
Yeah, it's cool. Just no sweating it.
Yeah,
she was one of the guys,
right? Yeah, yeah, I enjoyed that a lot, and it was pretty messed up. That the village that she went in to save, and then they had their little moment. It kind of reminded me of Fury. Did you see Fury? Where they go in and they save this little village, and then they get to spend some quality time chilling, enjoy a hot meal, stuff like that. And then along comes a freaking shell that destroys the house that they were just chilling in. But in this case, they got to dance and have a night of revelry, whatever you want to call it, debauchery. No, I guess they didn't do that. They were children, which made it even worse when that's the test site for the gas.
Yeah.
For that nerve toxin or whatever you want to call it. And Wonder Woman hauls off on a horse and runs there as fast as she can and discovers they're all dead. But again, that kind of set it up to have her realize that the world of men, make her question whether or not there was any good in the world of men. It's like,
the atrocities.
She held on to the belief that everybody was being evil, bad, and mean to each other because of Ares. She put all that onus and blame on Ares.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she believed that she had killed Ares and saw that nothing changed, she just began to further question, well, this world's straight screwed up. Why am I bothering?
Yeah.
She had that moment of retreating into herself and just being like, what was the line? The world doesn't deserve you. I think was said to her more than once.
Which there's something similar along those lines that at one point is said to Superman as well. In the newer movie by, what's her name? I can't think now. In the new movie. The newest Superman movie. I can't think.
Superman Returns?
Maybe.
Yeah, Martha Kent. His mom.
Yeah, his mom. I mean, I just can't think of the actress's name, but Martha Kent tells him that. She's like, you don't have to do any of that.
Yeah, you don't owe them a dang thing, is what she says. To that effect. Oh my gosh, you're gonna make me rack my brain over this. It's on the tip of my tongue.
For some reason, my brain's talking about Diane Keaton.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Diane Lane.
Diane Lane? That's it. Is that it? That's it.
Better be it. She is a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I mean, either way, it's, I realized that too. Like that was another parallel I drew. I was like, hey, wait, I've heard something like this before in the Superman movies.
Mm-hmm.
But.
Yeah. So help me if I got. It's Diane Lane.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. Overall, I think, I don't know. For me, it was, like, in terms of general, like a general movie experience, though, I would say it was good. It was good enough to see in the theater. With the, I don't know, the clarity of, hindsight. Me as a moviegoer, I probably would have been, I would have been like, oh, I can go see this on Tuesday and pay $5 and would have been totally fine with it, I wouldn't pay $12 to go see it again.
Yeah, I gotta be completely honest. One of my reasons for wanting to go see this, well, up front, 3 years ago, heard about this movie, and literally it's been stuck in development hell for at least the past decade, if not more, of having Wonder Woman come to the big screen. I 3 years ago made a promise to myself that I would take both of my daughters to see this movie.
Yeah.
thank you job for making it impossible for me to keep another promise to my children. I was livid, I mean pissed, when I realized I'm not going to be home when this comes out. Luckily, they have a loving, caring mother. Yeah, and they went with their mom. But
okay.
The other part of me wanted to just support a movie with a strong female lead.
Yeah.
And I get that. Honestly, that's why I went and saw Hunger Games back in the day. Mm-hmm. I hate to bring that up because Katniss doesn't hold a candle to Wonder Woman. Again, hate me in the comments if you want.
Nope.
But
me either. I mean, I would agree.
I'm all for supporting strong women in cinema because there just aren't enough. No. I mean,
yeah, I'd agree. It's, I mean, in that regards, it was refreshing.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of getting that bit. Wonder Woman was great in that regards.
Yeah.
And as I say, in terms of character and all that stuff, I thought it was really well done because
mm-hmm.
On a lot of levels, I enjoyed it. For the action, the character of it, the way she was portrayed, the
mm-hmm.
struggle she had, that was all good. It was just, it felt like, for me, some of the writing sometimes was a little trope. Oh. I'm like, eh. But
yeah, but again, I mean, they did the levity when they needed to. It wasn't forced per se. I mean, some of it may have been, but it didn't slow it down. I thought the pacing was pretty good. I didn't feel like there was a part where it was just like, oh my gosh, make something blow up. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel that way because I must have been a little more invested in the story. And what I enjoyed the most is this wasn't one of those things where, gosh, and I promised myself I wouldn't discuss Marvel, but dang it, Warner Brothers, we don't have anything else to really compare it to since we've been flooded by Marvel in the cinema.
Yeah.
But when that's why I would compare it. Oh, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, well, that's why I would compare it to, for me, in my mind, like potentially Marvel's Iron Man, because Iron Man was like the first big movie for Marvel that really, really worked.
Right. Yeah.
And
I mean,
if this
I wouldn't
can be
say
DC's...
X-Men or Spider-Man launched anything.
No.
Right.
Yeah, they were done to maintain rights, licensing rights.
Yeah.
So, I think if DC can continue forward
mm-hmm.
making movies like Wonder Woman
mm-hmm.
and improve them slightly, each go,
mm-hmm.
that they could easily give Marvel a run for their money in terms of the cinema universe.
Well, I think they're definitely taking a step in the right direction with Justice League here, and
mm-hmm.
I would really. I mean, I wouldn't want to see all the pressure put on Wonder Woman's shoulders, even though I think Gal could do that. She could
mm-hmm.
she could carry that burden, that weight. Who I see being somebody that's going to steal the show in Justice League? Jason Momoa.
You think?
I honestly think Aquaman's going to step up big in this.
Khal Drogo's going to...
Yeah, I think he's going to own that crap because... Here again, you had a casting decision that literally made no sense on the surface.
No. What?
Well, even underwater, since we're talking about Aquaman, I was like,
mm-hmm.
wait a minute. You're going to pass this dude off as Arthur Curry? Arthur Curry has always been blonde and blue-eyed in every iteration I've ever seen of him. Even Elseworlds.
Fictional character, man.
And again, when it comes to actors, DC was brave enough to do this with Perry White in Superman. They casted, like they came out and said, we're going to have an African American play Perry White. And everybody's
mm-hmm.
like, oh, what? Huh? How could, no. And then
mm-hmm.
they came out and said, played by Lawrence Fishburne. And I'm like, oh my gosh, do it.
Oh man, yeah.
Do it.
Yeah, I was super excited.
Dude, he can take a character, make it his own,
mm-hmm.
and bring... You want to talk about gravitas, anything he's been in, just gold. So I was like, oh, heck yeah, I'm all in. Let's see what he's going to do with them. Nailed it. Freaking great.
Yeah,
Loved it.
Yeah, for me, it's Idris Elba.
Oh yeah.
Like if it's Idris Elba, you could cast Idris Elba as any character ever, and I would be like, all right, I'm going to see this.
You excited for Dark Tower?
Yes. And I don't like Stephen King stuff that much, but I
Not a
like
huge fan.
Idris Elba more than I don't like Stephen King stuff. So I'm probably going to go see it just to support Idris Elba.
Okay. But so that's where I was going with what I was talking about with I went into this movie. I got to backtrack in my mind now. I went into this movie and I wasn't worried about what I was going to draw the parallel with was Thor, but you know what? I can use Captain America as well. I just wanted them to get the origin story right. You know?
Yeah.
That was my biggest concern. It's like, do the origin story justice, and I won't care if you screw everything else up. You know?
Yeah.
That's how I felt going into Captain America. I had expectations. That's how I felt about going into Thor. Honestly, when I found out it was Kenneth Branagh that was directing, I was like, this is going to be awesome. I'm not sure. I wasn't sure how, but I was expecting it to be awesome because of his background, you know, in theater and stuff and Shakespearean. I was like, man, what's he going to do with a Norse character like this? Nailed it. Knocked it out of the park. Loved it. But yeah, so with Wonder Woman, my expectations weren't like that per se, because the problem is you've had so many writers. I mean, come on, she's been around for 75 plus years, right? She's right there with Batman and Superman as being a freaking
foundation, like a cornerstone.
Yeah, she's part of the Trinity. So, but yeah, she's been around for, I think they just celebrated 75 years, didn't they? Yeah.
I'm not big on the DC stuff, so you got to carry this end.
Man, now I can't doubt my knowledge because it literally just happened, and they had Linda Carter as an ambassador standing in place of Wonder Woman, since, you know, fictional character.
Yeah, I guess it was 2013.
Was it?
Yeah, 2013.
Because I thought it was just this past year that she did. She was an ambassador for women's rights or something like that.
Yeah, 2013.
It was a big deal. But yeah, no, I mean, she's been around for such a long time that so many writers have been able to get their hands on her character and do what they will with her background. Yeah, and I thought from a writing standpoint they did a good job because, you know, there's the backstory of her being sculpted from clay, and then Zeus hit her with a lightning bolt, brought her to life, type of thing.
Yep,
and
blew on her.
They gave lip service to that. They gave lip service to all the things that you've heard, you're not sure about, and then they went ahead and made their own take of it all, and that's why I'm saying they settled on Demigod for this one, because I think Demigod is one that was more recent for the New 52.
Maybe it was something they changed in the New 52, but I mean, she was sculpted from clay and brought to life by Zeus. Demi implies that there's a human heritage in there, doesn't it?
Yeah, which was her mother.
But her mother was Amazon.
Amazonians, not God.
I don't know.
They're just warriors.
I don't know what they were. I thought they were created by the gods to do something. They weren't humans, though.
Yeah, that was all explained in the beginning, too. We got a quick little history lesson on them. Which was cool. I really enjoyed the artwork on that. Like the animation that they used. That was really cool.
Hey, man. And then when the movie kicked off and DC had their little intro, I was like, man, this is the DC version of the Marvel intro. The characters and the animation and stuff.
I will give you that. I had the same thought. Yeah. Because it was like the DC was appearing and you could see all the various characters
in the same way.
I thought to myself, I was like, okay, why are we tying Wonder Woman to Justice League? Because they showed Superman, they showed Batman. I'm like,
Green Lantern.
Just show Wonder Woman. This is her movie. That's kind of like the animated ones kind of tick me off sometimes, even though DC phenomenal at in all their animated movies. feel like they always have to time to Batman. And I'm like, you don't have to do that. Barry Allen can run on his own 2 legs. Green Lantern is a space cop. He's a badass space cop. You don't need to tie him to Batman to make it a legitimate character or introduce him or something like that. And it seemed like they always used Batman as a crutch. Because Warner Brothers is like, if we're going to throw money at this, we need somebody that everybody's familiar with, knows, blah, blah, blah.
It's their most successful franchise to date, really.
Yeah, but these characters have been around just as long and have intriguing backstories and characterization, same as more so than Bats. I'm sorry. You're going to get me started. I'm not. Go.
That's all right.
Change the topic.
You can be like the Scarface or the Two-Face coin there, because I like Batman just fine.
I can't. No. Change the subject.
All right. Same Bat channel.
Is this the end? Did we
ever do
a proper introduction for this one?
We're kind of there. No, we said that, the 2 lazy guys, and then colon, and what is it this time? Wonder Woman.
No, I only said what's after the colon.
No.
I never introduced me as Jared.
Yeah, I didn't.
You never introduced you as
Dave. Yep, I'm me.
Crap.
And then you say, I'm me.
I'm me.
Yeah, I'm me. Away
and
we
colon
go.
Wonder Woman. Well, yeah, I know we did that at the beginning. Colon Wonder Woman, so there you go, people.
Yeah, and then maybe in the future we'll see a little bit more of the magic lasso.
Oh, no, yeah, that's definitely happened.
She just learned to use it, so that's cool. But, I mean, that thing's indestructible.
Right.
And they've hogtied Superman with it, for crying out loud.
Actually, it was Doomsday.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That thing's been shown to be basically indestructible. You can't lie. It's in the comics. It stretches to like basically infinite length. Right. I mean, there doesn't really seem to be a limit to it. So it's one of those deals where like the magic lasso may wind up being it's sort of like Thor or like the Hulk. You know what I mean? For Civil War, they're like, we got to get this out of here. Boop, 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 and they punt them off because whoever's side the Hulk jumps on is probably just going to win. And so they're like, well, definitely. The magic lasso, it's this indestructible thing that can stretch anywhere and tie up Superman and make people tell the truth. Let's just keep that here in the background and not really pay. Don't anybody look at that too much.
Yeah, because I think that also came from the cartoon serialization from 1980 odd.
Oh, did the lasso come in there?
Yeah. It would like go around a whale so that she could rescue it from oil in the sea or something like that.
You know what?
Like, whoa! Magic
right
lasso.
At the end, man. I was hoping so bad. She was like, movie's over, and she could fly or something. You found out she could fly at the end when she was fighting there. She was floating in the air with him.
Yeah.
And so she can fly. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying, man. She's basically indestructible. She's the female version of Superman. But everybody's dying left and right trying to save her unnecessarily. But anyway, she's like, I can fly. And whenever it was over, I was like, part of me was so hoping the invisible jet showed up.
No.
She's like the invisible jet.
No, I was so glad that didn't happen.
You know why?
Why?
Because the other day, the kids and I watched Megamind.
Oh, yeah, Invisible Car.
Well, no, what's in it is if you haven't seen Megamind,
I have.
he's, I'm just, like if anybody's listening either. I'm not just talking to you.
To me. My bad.
No. There might be like one or two other people out there that make it this far.
Maybe.
Maybe. They're probably going to be related to me.
Odds of that? High.
Yes, high. But whenever we watched Megamind, it's about this guy who's a villain, and he defeats his good guy counterpart and gets sad because he doesn't have anybody to fight against him. He just gets to take over the world and is bored.
Right.
So he harnesses the power of the good guy and injects it into another guy who then is
more interested in using it to get a chick's attention.
Yeah, and turns into a big jerk and basically forces him into the good guy role.
Mm-hmm.
But the bad guy's name is Titan, and whenever he flies, he sits like he's driving a car and puts his arms forward. You know what I mean? Like he's driving a car, but he's flying through the air like that, and it's the most insane, hilarious thing, visual-wise.
Right.
And in my mind, I just saw Wonder Woman
invisible
sitting there looking like she's driving a car, but just flying through the air, just real weird
the
and
invisible
awkward.
jet never made sense because she can fly.
Yeah, but she gets tired. I guess the implication is she's winded.
And see, I've heard the argument, well, she needs to be able to care and show compassion to her teammates that can't fly. That's the only reason she has the invisible jet. And I'm like, why has it got to be invisible? Because it comes from Themyscira, which was invisible to the rest of the world. I'm like, no. She doesn't need a freaking invisible jet. They didn't have to show any pay any homage to it. I was glad they didn't.
There was some I remember reading some comic. I swear it's a comic. And it was a DC one, and it was like they were taking jabs at the other, like the Justice League. They're all like, everybody goes, "Oh, cool," and they were somewhere like on the moon or something.
Watchmen?
No, it was Justice League. The Justice League is like on the moon, or they're somewhere.
Okay,
they're somewhere not at home, right? They're not on Earth or something. And the situation is they don't have transportation. Everybody's like, oh, time to go. And so they all leave, and they go, shoo, and everybody takes up, like Green Lantern, Superman, Wonder Woman, like, Martian Manhunter, like everybody flies off, and then it cuts and like Batman's just standing there. And then Green Lantern comes back, and he's like, yeah, sorry, and like, puts him in a little green bubble with his ring and brings him along. But, it's like Batman standing there going, hey.
Well, see, I think it was probably one of the DC cartoons, one of the Justice League cartoons, dealt with the whole thing of, so everybody gets shot out of the air and everybody can fly, no problems. Well, what the crap happens to Flash? And somebody had the bright idea of, he just spins his arms, makes tornadoes, and controls his descent. Because Flash is awesome. But in Batman's case, he has to wait to be able to. You're doing it again, Dave. He has to wait to be able to shoot his little battering thing, whatever it was, from grappling hook. Yeah, he has to use his grappling hook on the nearest tree, building, whatever. Okay, what if your stupid ass is falling into the ocean? Then what? What are you going to do now, bats?
Same thing that he just pops out the big yellow raft and floats down on it, same as Indiana Jones did.
The big rubber ducky? Yeah. Okay.
No, they did it in Temple of Doom.
Sure.
They rode down that giant waterfall screaming, in that yellow raft.
He didn't pull it out of something that was pellet-sized from his belt, though, did he, shark repellent boy? No.
Well, but he could have.
He didn't.
He could have.
Yeah. Because he's prepared for everything, and yet he calls Superman the last Boy Scout. Come on.
And that's because of the moral code.
Why are you doing this?
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just talking about.
I can't talk about Batman. He sucks.
I'm just talking about Batman.
I hate him. He sucks. He's man. You've heard me say it before, and I'm going to say it again. He is the Iron Man of the DC world.
Okay, what's wrong with that, man? Tony Stark
rich
is
playboy philanthropist. Take away the suit, and what are you? An egotistical, rich... No, I'm not going to get into it.
Yep, he'll be right back in the fight, though.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway.
Superman could kill him with a thought.
What?
Yeah.
Out of all the powers I've ever seen, he has the most generic set. However, there seems to be all-encompassing. I don't think he has telekinesis. Mind bullets.
He would appear to you to be looking, just staring at him, but he'd be using microscopic heat vision to sever any and all brain activity through Bruce Wayne's eye lens, and the fight would be over.
Oh.
With a thought, he would have that speed to do that. Surgical precision. Bruce Wayne's dead. The world rejoices. Screw you, Batman. You
the world of
psychotic
that it's like the little Dragon Ball Z
of a
sized world
broken individual
that Jared lives on. One man.
I'm telling you.
You eat
Lego
you eat
Batman
a cupcake
got it right.
alone.
He is an insecure loser.
I think you would be eating a cupcake alone in a janitorial closet somewhere.
No. I'm afraid there's many people that feel the same way. He's come on. And they showcase it in Justice League. My turn. If he didn't have a freaking robot bat wing looking thing to shoot things, what would he be doing? He'd be screwed. How he outran freaking Doomsday with grappling hooks was beyond me. Oh, he was weakened by kryptonite gas that he made. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? He's prepared for every eventuality.
Yeah.
Yeah. World's greatest detective mind nutsack.
Brother. So, yeah, but how did you feel about Wonder Woman?
Who do you think would do better? Sherlock Holmes or Bruce Wayne? Who would outwit the other?
Okay, let me ask you this.
We could do an entire show on this.
Which Batman and which Sherlock Holmes?
Well, okay. If we want to talk about a Batman that I truly love, Adam West.
Okay. Then
okay, but so
it would be a Sherlock that I really love. Then it would
know.
be Benedict Cumberbatch, Sherlock Holmes. In which case, Sherlock Holmes would win.
Okay, so which Batman could you put him up against then? That would actually truly be an adversary to match wits with.
I don't know. Probably one of the middle ones. Christian Bale's Batman would be.
You wouldn't be able to understand him. Sherlock Holmes would shred the dude. He'd be like, I can't understand a word you're saying. You gravelly talking little monkey. I just, bats. Let's go. Anyways, you were trying to take it back to Wonder Woman. See, you don't want to get me started on Batman. It's a hate relationship for me and bats.
Oh yeah. You would gum on the underside of the Batmobile door handle.
I mean, I will always love.
What?
I'll always have a spot in my heart for Adam West, but whenever I think of Batman, I think of the guy that does the voice acting for him, Kevin Conroy. Mm-hmm. He is Batman.
Yeah, I would agree there, and they used him again along with Mark Hamill for The Killing Joke, which was like.
That's another podcast.
Great cast.
It was
writing.
It was. Yeah,
that was like the anti sort of Wonder Woman, in that Barbara Gordon was like used and discarded almost. In the Killing Joke in the animated thing, I really didn't like the way they handled Barbara Gordon at all.
No, I think a lot of us, yeah. If you're going to take exception with any part of that movie, it's right up front within the first 15 minutes. You're just like, what? No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Why is this happening?
Yeah. No. Just no. I mean, yeah. No.
Yeah, no. Good writing. Yeah. He's not here. Right?
It's not here. No.
It's not. No.
God. That was off. No, anyway. I didn't. But yeah, anyway, so we could already cap the Wonder Woman discussion, I think.
Yeah, probably about 15 minutes ago.
Well, I don't think we gave it the official. Well, I guess you did give it the official because you're like $5 theater. I'd do it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I paid like $7.50, and I think it was worth every cent. And again, that goes back to I really want to support this type of film and have it do well. What really annoyed me was
So yeah, hey everybody. Think what it amounts to. This one is we just kind of started rambling there. I'm sorry about that. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Thanks for checking us out. If you haven't, if not, this goes out to the void. We'll continue to scream into you for eternity. Anyway, check us out. Back here next time. Well, I'd say week, but who really knows? We may be on Twitter. I don't know. That was Jared's thing there. I know we have an email. You can maybe send us an email. That's at Two Lazy Guys. It's TWO Lazy Guys at gmail.com. Oh my God. I almost forgot. I forgot the colon. It's Two Lazy Guys, colon, all spelled out, at gmail.com. Catch y'all next time.